Hey, hey folks, check it out. We are live, baby. We are going to be doing a real juicy one today. We're going to be talking about dangerous dog breeds, the XL Bully Band. We're going to be talking about all kinds of mischief and mayhem, but more specifically, dogs that have killed and are capable of killing humans. Now, we're not just doing this for the shock and awe value. It's just real life. Like, it's happening literally every day. The impetus for this conversation was my father sent me an article just a couple days ago of a woman in South Florida that was killed by, guess what? A dog. And then when I clicked that to read more about it, there was the next link to the next article, to the next article, to the next article of people getting killed by dogs. I don't know if the reporting has just gotten better or if we're seeing a spike or a rise in these types of incidents. I do know with the invention of the cell phone and cameras and the internet, we're seeing a lot more of it. And that's exactly what you're going to see in this video. We're going to be sharing with you some of those videos from the internet, kind of breaking them down and discussing why is this happening? Is it a breed-specific thing? Is a ban going to stop these murders, these deaths? Is it training? Is it the owners? Is it dog specific? And really talk about what we can do to stop this from happening. And of course, protect yourself and your loved ones, because even though you may not own a dangerous breed, you could be walking down the street, and not to scare you, but some of these instances, people are just getting attacked out of nowhere. Trust me when I tell you, when these people get killed by their own dog, their family's dog, their neighbor's dog, or just a random dog, they didn't wake up that morning knowing they were going to get mauled to death by a dog. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things you can do to prevent that from happening. But without further ado, oh, and we'll also have a special treat for you before I forget. We'll be calling our friend Steve, who lives over in the UK, who has seen the bully ban firsthand, actually going back to the pit bull ban, and he has firsthand account of his experience with the ban. Does it work? Does he think it's effective? And I don't want to say, put any words in his mouth. I want you to hear it direct from him. We've talked about it a few times, but I want you to hear it direct from him, someone that actually is living there and sees the effect of these types of bans. And more importantly, like, are they going to be effective? What does it really mean for the man or woman who lives over there? And I want to talk also about, are those bans going to come here? And some of the restrictions we're seeing already when it comes to living in the US of A, and what kind of breeds you can or can't own, should or shouldn't own, and how that might restrict you on where you live, etc., etc. So I think I kind of glossed over what this whole live's going to be about, but we're going to jump right in, and I'd like to share our first video. And the purpose of this is to talk about, first off, why are we seeing these types of killings? Why are we seeing dogs go after, why I should say it this way, why are we seeing man's best friend kill man? It's a good question, right? And so, by the way, we do have the comment screen open. Spider is manning the comments. If you got a juicy question, we'll try our best to answer it. Obviously, it's got to be close to the topic at hand. No, we're not going to talk today about how to train your poodle to come and do a heel. We're going to talk about this very specific breed-related issue. And actually, is it a breed-related issue? Yes and no at the same time. I would like to preface this with, we're trying to be as neutral as possible. We're looking at this through the lens of really just a husband, a father, a dog owner, but also through the lens of a police canine trainer, a police canine handler, and also a civilian pet dog trainer. And just want to give my insight, again, very, very neutral. I've never been a breedist. I like all dogs. I like mutts. I like purebreds. I like small. I like them big. I like everything. That's what she said, right? So I just want to really give you my opinion on all of these things and take it for what it's worth. Again, some people are going to get a little ants in their pants in the comment section. I think I have to preface this with, I love pit bulls. But at the same time, pit bulls will kill people, have killed people, will continue to kill people. They absolutely will. And I have a dog sleeping right next to me, a Corso. That's my pride and joy. That is man's best friend right there. But others of his breed have killed, which we will talk about. We're going to share those videos. We're going to talk about it, break them down. and will continue to kill. That's just the facts, folks. That's the facts. So, without further ado, let's start with why are we seeing these killings? I'll try to summarize it as best I can. Every case is different. It's a case-by-case basis. But sometimes we see issues of territorial aggression. What is that? Meaning, someone who your dog doesn't know comes near your home. Maybe it's a good guy, maybe it's a bad guy, kind of besides the point. But someone enters your property, whether your backyard, maybe your front yard, or actually comes inside your home, and the dog tears into them and puts them down. And if they don't get away, right? Most times people get away, but sometimes they don't and they get killed. There are videos of that on the internet. Maybe we'll find one. Maybe we'll share it with you. In fact, I know of a really good one. If you have a chance to find it, or maybe y'all can post in the comments there. Alex, I think you're watching Tormasi or any of our moderators. I want to find the one of the South African Boer Bull who really does a number on a guy that breaks into someone's backyard. It's like a burglar or a thief, and this Boer Bull hooks him up. And you can tell this dog's not trained. This is just straight genetics. Moving on, so we can understand territorial aggression. I think that's a small part of it. Dominance is another one. I have a video that I'm going to try to share with you all. It is rough. This is an owner that reached out to us, has a Dogo Argentino, about 1.5, 2 years old. And he sent us a video from like a Ring camera inside his home, super HD quality. We might even be able to share it because it's so gruesome that YouTube might demonetize this whole thing and shut it down and age restricted. I've been doing with some of our videos, even though they are educational in nature. It's his son is in the home, and the son doesn't live there, but he's visiting. The owner is not there, and it is wild to see it. I'll just describe it the best I can. About an 18-year-old, 20-year-old kid. You know, not too big, not too small, average size, probably a buck 20-pound Dogo Argentino. And this dog postures up on him. And you can tell the kid is scared of the dog. He's like kind of walking on eggshells around him. And long story short, this Dogo tears him, you know what. I mean, a nasty, nasty dog bite. I actually had to show Spider. I'm like, can we show this? He goes, no, you can't show that. But I'll describe it for you. 2 nasty lacerations, about 3 inches long and like 2 inches wide. Looked like a shark bite. And the bite happened this fast. If the owner was not there to break it up and yell at the dog, or the kid wasn't able to get away, you would be dealing with one more incident of someone getting killed by a dog. And then we get the, I don't know if it's a privilege or an honor or what you would call it, because it doesn't feel like any of that, where he has to call us and ask us, get this now, hey, Garrett, I need to send my dog to training so that you can fix this. I said, fix what? Fix your dog trying to kill people? Sir, there's no fixing that. We can mitigate it. We can manage it. We can train your dog. You can have excellent obedience. And I can guarantee you while that dog is in my presence, he won't harm anyone. But chances are, that owner is not a firm enough owner. That dog does not respect him. That dog is too old, too wise, too powerful, too dominant, too smart, that he's going to outsmart the trainer, the owner, or maybe the trainers too, at every turn. And if the opportunity presents itself, there is not a trainer on the planet, listen to me carefully, there is not a trainer on the planet that can guarantee that they can cure that dog of his dominance drive and his need to correct humans in what he considers his household. Again, we can get the dog to a point that he is manageable, but you're not curing that. And then this is a hot one, baby. I've talked about this before. This is a weird one. But when we talk about aggression in dogs, violence, dominance drive, whatever you want to call it, I just want to run this by you. This will help frame the conversation. How do you cure a pedophile from being a pedophile? I know it just got really weird. How do you do it? What is the 100% guaranteed way that you can stop someone with those tendencies to stop having those tendencies? I'm sure some people are posting in the comments pretty wild stuff at this moment. Good for you. By the way, like, share, subscribe. But I'm going to answer it for you. You don't. I can guarantee you, as a father of 2 young girls, as a proud gun-owning American, retired law enforcement officer, I can absolutely guarantee you, if, again, this is all hypothetical, I can manage that individual's problem. I can manage it. I can train him to a point. I can make sure that while he's in and around my family and my household, he will not act on those drives. Misplaced drives, by the way. I think we would all agree with that. A misplaced sexual drive. And I'm going to come back to that misplaced in a minute. But there is no one on planet Earth, there is no psychologist, medical doctor, corrections facility, or otherwise, that will ever cure that person of their problem. 100% cure. Meaning, could you ever trust them? The answer is no. It's the same with certain dogs. Many issues in dogs can't be, quote, fully cured, but they can be managed. That's why I go back to that Dogo Argentino has some misplaced drives. In my presence, we're going to make sure we manage it, but I'm also strong leadership. I know how to deal with dogs. I know how to read them. I know how to train them. I know how to deal with the blah, 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 blah. But how do I relay 20 plus years of experience training dominant dogs to an owner that's obviously out of his scope? Now, I'm not saying the owner's bad. I'm sure he got the dog for all the right reasons, which we're going to talk about more too. Why are these people getting these dogs? And then there's just so much to talk about. It's kind of overwhelming, but let's get back into why are these dogs doing it. So we already talked about territorial aggression, talked about the dominance. In this case, that Dogo Argentino bit the crap out of that kid because of dominance. You saw it coming. They postured up and then boom, let the kid know, this is my house. What are you doing? We also got a little bit of defensive drive. What could that be? Defensive drive is, and you'll see it in some videos, where the dog basically feels threatened. Whether he feels threatened or he feels you're threatening the family, the dog's going to kick into overdrive and handle business. But one of the biggest ones we're seeing is the misplaced prey drive. Remember talking about misplaced sex drive? So I make pedophiles pedophiles, if you want to call it that, right? No human psychologist, but misplaced prey drive. What is that? I'm going to show you an example, and then this should make sense. I'm going to pull up a video. I warn you all, man. You got kids in the room, or you're squeamish, or you're soft-hearted, or just don't be on this particular video. Again, this is super educational. There's a reason we're showing you this. But it's every video you see is gonna be pretty rough. So
while we jump into that, we do have a question from Skater, who's asking, would you put XL bullies in the same class of breeds as a Cane Corso, Presa Canario, or other power breeds?
110%. It's a power breed. I'm going to classify them, and there's more. I'm going to leave some off the list. But you just named them all. Absolutely. Absolutely. XL bullies, Rottweilers, even German Shepherds, Dogo Argentino, Boerboel, Cane Corso. By the way, we have three of those breeds in our home right now. We got a Boerboel, we got a Rottweiler, we got a Cane Corso. None of them would hurt a fly. There's also other ones out there that have and will seriously injure or kill a human, and have and will continue to do so. And how do we classify them as that? Is that the question? Would we classify them in the same? Yeah, power breeds. Let me, dogs that are 80, 90, 100 plus pounds, dogs that have, this is really what it comes down to, the physical strength to kill someone. Because you could have a mean-ass Chihuahua, mean Shih Tzu, mean dogs, right? You ever heard of a Chihuahua killing someone? No. If you hear snoring, this Thanos is living his best life right there. And then we're going to talk about misplaced prey drive, and I think this will bring it together. And why is this is not to target pit bulls by any means, or XL bullies or anything else, but one of the things we're going to see is this misplaced prey drive. There's maybe another name for it. This is what I call it. All dogs naturally have different drives: food drive, sex drive, dominance drive, toy drive, bite drive, all kinds of drives. One of them being prey drive. Donald says crazy prey drive, but it's more natural. He likes to chase squirrels and cats and bunnies and deer and lizards. If it's small and it scurries, he's after it. However, he draws the line at other dogs. He has no misplaced prey drive when it comes to other dogs, big or small. It's not a size thing. He knows the difference. All right, so let's show you this video. Let me know when you're ready for that. All right, and we're going to be showing you a pretty short clip, 55 seconds long. You're going to see a woman walking to It says pit bulls. Again, you know, pit bull. Let me just preface this. If I say pit bull, maybe it's a pit bull, maybe it's a pit bull mix, maybe it's a bully breed. Just, you get it. There's so many variations. Generally speaking, a pit bull, Amstaff, bully type of breed, but that's not what all these videos are about. Happens to be a lot of them. We didn't select them. It's just how it goes. Let's get into this video right here. Let me know when we're ready to roll.
Ready.
All right. Can you see this thing at the bottom of my screen?
Yeah, you can. But just once you play, it should go.
All right. Let's go.
You try clicking next. Oh no, it's gonna close the tab.
There. That probably help a little bit. No, I'm gonna go full screen. I don't know what this is about. Oh, it's because this is up in the background. That's all right. It doesn't matter if this thing's on the screen. Just watch this lady. Watch, and there's a cat right here.
Is there audio on this one?
I don't think there is audio.
Okay.
There probably is. You just don't want to hear it. And we'll pause there because I don't think we need to see the rest of that. Let's just back up here to the moment of what went wrong. Just what went wrong. These dogs are on the hunt. This lady has no control over the dogs. She's walking them on improper equipment. I see one of them on a harness. We'll break it down further. Y'all tell me, maybe one of them's bull mastiff type. I see some brindle maybe on one. You know, you could post what breed you think it is and let me know what they think it is. You tell me what else you see go wrong or go right here. And it's like, we're just going to ask the question. Is it the owner? Is it the breed? Is it these individual dogs? Is it the lack of training, lack of equipment? Is a hodgepodge of all of these things? Am I missing something? What led to the probably, well, you know, cats are some resilient creatures. Maybe this cat survived, but I kind of doubt it. Watch, I want to actually play this in full speed, then we'll play it in slow-mo again, and just watch the behavior of these dogs. This is an owner not paying attention that her dogs are in drive. What kind of drive are they in? They're in a hunt drive right now. They are out on a hunt. They're not considering this a casual stroll around the neighborhood. I've seen many a dog like this. It's dogs with strong drives. They think their pack walk is a pack hunt. And why wouldn't they? It's in their genetics. So here they are. They're on a hunt. This lady don't realize she's got 2 hunting dogs ready to kill. As soon as they see this thing, this cat isn't even moving. And they're locked in. And now we got a little bit of a pack frenzy. Here we go. What has she got? What has she got? One leash? It's like a double leash. I can't tell, but it kind of looks like, it doesn't even matter. It looks like a bungee leash. Don't use bungee leashes. Just a catastrophe. She wipes out, and not for nothing, luckily it was just a cat. I know, for you cat lovers out there. It could have been a child, could have been your dog, could have been you. And so, let me know what the comments say. What went wrong here? But what I'm trying to get at is, we're not, I don't think, totally shocked by this. Dogs chasing cats, I mean, they've been making cartoons about this for like 80 years, but probably 100 years. Dogs chase cats is what they do. We accept that. I mean, I'm not saying they should do it. It's just if someone called me up and told me their dog was chasing a cat, I'm like, okay, yeah, like we'll address that. But that's normal. Thanos chases cats. Loves to chase them. He wouldn't kill them like this. He just wants to play with them. But these dogs want to do something else. Just take it to the next level. And it's on like Donkey Kong. Now what happens is, if you can imagine, that same drive, jump in when you can, Spider. What happens when dogs, such as pit bulls and other bully type of breeds, Dogo Argentinos, you name it, and everything in between, have now around 100, 200 years, maybe longer, worth of training and selection, selective breeding, that's got actual DNA built into the dog's genetics, where they have distorted that prey drive. That's what I call it. Misplaced prey drive, where now dogs like this look at horses, children, and other dogs as a prey item. The same as seeing this cat run, chase, kill, bite. Or bite, kill, however you want to call it. Same thing. And so let's show you some of those clips if we can. You want to come down on that?
Yeah, 1 second. Go ahead.
All right, perfect. And we'll go ahead and show you.
We got a lot of people talking about, like, this is 100% like owner and equipment fault.
Yeah. Yeah. But what if it was 2 Maltese on the end of that leash? That's the point. Is it not that the Maltese doesn't want to go after the cat? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. There's pit bulls there's videos out there. Pit bull's best friend is a cat. So is it the breed, or is it? We're going to come back to this a lot. It's the size and the power and the drive, the power of the dog, actual physical capability of the dog, coupled with the natural drive, crazy high prey drive, right? Pit bulls are a working line type of dog, bred to work. What kind of work? Bull baiting, killing other dogs in the pits. Rat dogs. I mean, if it moves, don't matter the size, they want to take it down. It's just in their DNA. I'll pause here and talk about this. You all ever worked with, say, a Labrador Retriever, Golden Retriever, German Short-Haired Pointer, or a bird dog? These dogs come out of the factory, out of the womb, wanting to chase birds and tennis balls. They're bred for it. They want what a Golden Retrievers want to do. They want to go find a stick and bring it back to you. You didn't teach the dog to do that. That came with it pre-installed from the factory. Problem is, these pit bulls sometimes come, and other ones, and this is not to pick on pit bulls, come pre-installed from the factory with the ability to kill humans, with the ability to kill other animals, and just misplaced prey drive. So I'm going to show you one of
we have a question here.
Bulldog. Hold on. This is going to be a bulldog attacking a horse in a park. Go with it.
So Chris is asking, how does temperament and training factor in?
Was
Why
mad
does
house.
Thanos have a normal or safe prey drive?
Genetics, training, early socialization, teaching them right from wrong, not encouraging it. In fact, we have a video later that we're going to show you. In fact, I got to find it. Somehow I got disappeared off the screen. You're going to see, to that exact point, bad genetics coupled with bad, in fact, we'll show this video next. I just have to find it. Bad genetics coupled with bad early socialization and training, all just this hodgepodge of a catastrophe, and you are going to see a killer in the making. I said, what? A killer in the making. A 13-week-old Cane Corso getting prepped to become the next dog that needs to get put down or put into a shelter, or we're going to be getting a phone call saying, I don't know what went wrong or why, but can you help me? And just stupid owners doing just stupidity. I just gotta call it like it is.
You talking about the one that I sent you?
Yeah.
Oh, I have it.
You had
saved.
downloaded it?
I downloaded it.
See if you can add it to that same.
Yeah.
Just put it towards the top. All right, this next one, are we up?
Yeah, 1 second.
This is just to show you misplaced prey drive.
You're up now.
Just the power and the drive and the what are we talking about drive? You know, food drive. We all have food drive. Like, what would you do for a cheeseburger if you were really hungry? You know what I'm saying? You start to get crabby. You know what I mean? Like, just what do you do? A lot of us have sex drive, dominance drive to just succeed in life and get promoted and blah, 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 blah. So we have pack drive, right? We want to take care of our family. This is misplaced prey drive. This is a dog that doesn't care about anything, and it's going to stop at nothing to satisfy its drive to take down big-ass horse. Just seeing so much of this right now. I don't know if this is going to have audio or not. There we go. It's described as an American bulldog. Who knows what it is? You got to ask yourself, when and where was this dog trained to do this? It wasn't.
It's okay,
Comes right out of the
baby.
factory with that. Hanging on, biting and holding. There's actual pictures of the damage that this dog did to the horse. Pretty nasty. Look, that dog just got kicked on and stomped by the horse,
This is not.
but still has drive. Still has drive. It just goes on and on. Very dangerous situation. Hard to get in there. Obviously, and then you got to ask yourself, I'm going to ask it now, what's the contributing factor? Is it the breed? Yeah, that's part of the breed, baby. Is it poor ownership? Probably. It's lack of training. Now maybe it's not every day you see a horse in your neighborhood. It's the first time ever. And I'm gonna put the volume down. It's just like windy. This might be the first time this dog's ever seen a horse, so maybe he didn't know this was gonna be a problem. No equipment. I don't see the equipment. I see a stick. I see someone using a stick. I see someone filming. I don't even know who the owner is. Maybe there is no owner. I have no idea. Maybe someone can tell us who the owner is. The only guy that I've seen from the beginning is the dude over on the right. It looks like he's given up. Look at that dog. really doing damage. That could kill the horse. Why kill the horse? Because if it becomes maimed, I'm not a horse expert by any means, but I do understand if a horse has a serious enough injury on their leg, you got to put them down. I don't think that's the case with this horse, but it could happen. But more importantly, people could get killed. The guy on the horse is about to get bumped off. It's dangerous. That's a breed thing. By the way, did I answer the last question thoroughly enough?
Yeah.
All right, very good. All right, I'm going to kill this. Did you find that video for me?
I'm getting it up right now. I'll take a
Perfect. So let's go into let's tell you what's going to come up next, because you got to stick around. This has a little crescendo we built in. We're going to see a few more incidents of dogs now attacking humans, and of course other dogs. And then we're going to get into a couple of cases where XL bullies, Cane Corsos, have very recently, we're saying all in the last 4 to 12 months, at least 3 different incidents of individuals getting killed by dogs. And it's happening a lot. And you're just hearing certain breeds now more than ever. Why? Well, I don't know, 15 years ago, most people didn't even know what a Cane Corso was. Now, one of the most prolific dog breeds around. Meaning, and I'll set the stage. Our first Corso was like maybe 14 years ago when we got it. You couldn't find a breeder, very hard to come by. You never saw one, ever. You just never saw them, and nobody knew what it was. We took it somewhere, they're like, what is that? It's like a pit bull. What is that thing? And we tell them what it is, and now the contrast between 14 years ago and today, I just had Thanos took him to the gas station yesterday. Went on a little ride. I had to get some gas. When I was in the side-by-side, it was actually a 2-for-1 story. I'm getting ready to pull away. I got my gas, the little side-by-side's running. He's in the back. We're getting ready to roll out, and the gas station attendant flags me down, and she goes, "Oh my God, what a beautiful dog. Is that a Cane Corso?" I said, "Yeah, that's exactly what it is." And she says, "Oh, can I say hi to him?" She asked so politely, so nicely, and she was so enamored with him. I couldn't say no. And but more importantly, she just asked the right way, and I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Well, when she said to say hi, actually, she really just wanted to get, I don't know, about 5 feet away. That's as close as she wanted to get, which is fine with me. And she just was asking a few questions about him, and we were talking for about 30 to 60 seconds, and we're kind of wrapping up the conversation. And the point is that she knew exactly what it was. She spotted it from 30 feet away. She says, "Is that a Cane Corso or Cane Corso?" And then every time I hear, "Is that one?" it's followed by, guess what, Spider? What do you think they say after they go, "Is that a Corso?" What's the next thing they say?
"I want one so bad," or somebody I know wants one.
"I want one so bad. My grandma wants one. My auntie wants one. My neighbor just got one. I'm getting one." And that's what this lady said. She says, "I'm getting one. I can't wait to get one. I'm already looking. In fact, do you know a breeder you would recommend?" Oh my God. By the way, shout out to Max Tran. Shout out to Por Elisum Cane Corso, and shout out to Fireside Cane Corso.
They're all
don't get one.
Thanos over there in the couch. They're all watching him snore.
Oh, we got the camera lined up now?
Yeah, they can see you.
There he is, the killer. All right, so what was I talking about? Anyways, the point is just fast track, and I'm saying 14 years. I mean, it's really just been in the last 5 to 8 years, this explosion. Everybody and their mom wants this dog, and you're going to hear me say it till I'm blue in the face. This dog is not for 99% of you all folks. In fact, and this lady, here's the breed facts. You want to hear the breed facts from this? This lady was so nice at the gas station. She goes, "Oh, again, is that a Corso?" "Yes." "Oh, I'm getting one. I want one. He's so beautiful. I want to get one." And she said, these are the 2 reasons why. Ready? Amazing with kids. Yes and no. And so protective of the household. Yeah, they are. And I always have the same warning. I'm like, I don't know, man. Who am I like only you can prevent forest fires? What's that guy, Smokey the Bear? I'm like Smokey the Bear when it comes to dogs. Look, only you can prevent the next Cane Corso from killing someone. Don't get it, is what I tell them. I say it's I don't know if I say don't get it. I just said be very careful, do your research. It's a lot of dog, and I always say this. I really don't recommend it. So what? Yeah, I don't recommend it. And again, we're gonna have some haters out there. I know there's some sweet ones. Why is Thanos the way he is? A lot of socialization, a lot of environmentals, a lot of training. Genetics though, just good genetics. Thank God. Just a nice dog. not really a mean bone in his body. I mean, he's gotten older. He's gotten, you know, that Corso's still in there, but he's just very social, which is very strange for this breed, I would say.
You know, I do want to pose the question.
Yeah.
Because we got like 400 viewers right now, and I think I've mentioned it to you, but you know, I've been working with the dog field since about 2018, and I've only come to learn about the Corsos about like 2020, roughly, when you started really going into TikTok and YouTube more and more.
Yeah.
I just want to ask the people in the chat now, how did they find out about the Corsos? You know, how was it through? Was it through social media, through one you saw in person? Because I've really felt like in the last 3-4 years, it's just exploded. You see them here, there, and everywhere now, especially online.
And I have a follow-up question to that. Answer that, but at the same time, what year did you first learn about it? About like 5 years ago, 2017, 2020? When did you first really become aware of the breed? I'd love that. That's a great, we should do a poll. That's what we're doing right now, the poll away. I will also say this is the stupidity of mankind. While this nice lady's talking to me and we're getting ready to pull off, I see a woman about 6 or 8 gas pumps over, walking, like speed walking towards us. You know, I'm out, law enforcement background, my head's always on a swivel, a little bit of PTSD if you want to call it that. And I see this lady coming, and she's like coming right towards us. And I remember looking like, where is she going? Because there's nothing over here for her. And she's coming. I'm like, man, she's probably going to bother me about the dog, you know, it happens. And I'm making eye contact with her to kind of gauge her, check her, if you will. But she won't look at me. She's still coming. And I'm like, oh, she's going to the garbage can. There's a garbage can right next to us. Then I remember thinking, well, why is she coming to this garbage can? She's got her own garbage can. At that point, my eyesight is pulled towards the gas attendant who I'm speaking with. She asked another question. I didn't want to be rude. So I'm like, oh, yes, yeah, et cetera. We're talking. When I look back, that lady who came beelining is already in my side-by-side, leaning through the netting, petting Thanos in the face, and letting him lick her in the face. That lady didn't look at me. She didn't make eye contact with me. She didn't talk to me. She didn't ask permission before she stuck her grubby hands inside my vehicle and started petting my dog. Y'all tell me if that's right or wrong.
Had it not been Thanos, it probably would have been up for review in a video today.
Yeah. And even though Thanos is nice, what if I did a ton of bite work in and around cars? Which I don't, and I don't do it for this exact reason why. Because these dogs can be a loaded gun. Luckily, Thanos is not. We do just enough bite work that he looks good on camera, and I stop there because I don't want a monster. I never wanted to create a monster, because once the cat is out of the bag, or in this case, Pandora's out of the box, whatever the line is, once the beast is out, you cannot put it back. And so imagine if I did a ton of bite work in and around vehicles. Absolutely, that lady could have got nuked. Now, you say, well, I don't plan to do bite work. You don't need to. You don't need to have a dog. We just talked about it. Dogs are very territorial, pack-driven, defensive, and some strange person who your dog's never met comes beelining over and just sticks their hand in your car. It's like 50-50 whether it's going to get bit or not, depending upon what kind of dog we have in the background. This lady's just an idiot. So then she finishes molesting my dog with her hands. That's what I call it, because she's just, and I'm still talking to this lady, and my kid's there, and you know, typical Garret fashion, I think she caught me on a good day. Otherwise, she would have got a few choice expletives for like doing that stupidity. Because not only is it rude, it's just wrong and stupid and unsafe. I mean, you post in the comments, you've probably seen that kind of stuff. So I look back, and now she finishes petting, turns her back to me, and walks away. That lady never said a word to me. It's like, what is wrong with people? By the way, it's a borderline what we call occupied burglary to a conveyance, right? You cannot stick your hands inside of other people's vehicles, and it's an extension of their home. You know what I mean? Like, let's just switch it for a minute. I'm standing, I don't know, I'm going to get mail. I look back, and some lady that I don't know has walked into my home and started petting my dog in the foyer. What are you doing in my house? What are you doing leaning in my car? Don't do that. Idiot. Anyways, side note, you find this video for me, my man?
Yeah, you have it, a link there, lady encouraging 13-week-old Corso.
All right.
You know what's interesting regarding the question, a lot of people in Europe say that Corsos have been more prevalent there for a little bit longer, but in the U.S. comments seem to be a lot more people saying after 2020, And I guess our fans in the chat, they're saying a lot from you.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the sad part. Because here I am talking about don't get one, but it's this I deal with this every day. This is it a catch-22? I'm horrible
Yeah,
with like
catch-22.
Yeah, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like I didn't select this dog. This dog selected me in a sense. Like it just is a gift, literally. And he's been a blessing, but maybe a bit of a curse because they see how he is on camera and they see what we're able to do and see my, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old, depending upon what age or what time you're watching the video, walking him and they go, oh, that's it, gotta buy one. Because it's gonna come out of the box just like that. Same reason why a lot of jackasses are buying Belgian Malinois and Dutch Shepherds. It's like, oh, well, the police use them, they must come out of the womb fully trained. Couldn't be further from the truth. And completely untrained, completely wild. Corsos, very dominant and just very powerful breeds. And you already know, you've heard it, but I have to admit I share a good amount of guilt and responsibility for it. But what am I supposed to do? Lock them in a box and hide them? I think we use it better as educational. Like, look what can be done with proper training. But at the same time, I think at every opportunity, correct me if I'm wrong, how many videos do I have out there like, don't get one? And what are we doing right now? We're talking about don't get one and all the reasons why. Or if you do, the things you need to do to prepare yourself. Now, we just talked about vehicles, we talked about courses, and we talked about genetics, and we're talking about stupid owners. Now I have a video that combines all of this. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Let me make sure that the quality is up and that this is as big as we can get it. Quality is only 240.
So I'm not hearing anything.
I had turned the volume down a little bit, I think. All right, let's go full screen. The quality, bear with me. 13-week-old Corso puppy. Maybe this lady will sue me later. Whoever filmed this, you're an idiot. You're going to watch. This is why Corsos end up hurting people. Watch, but more importantly, listen.
Where's that?
So I can't hear the video.
I can hear it. It's just very quiet. Turn it up as best you can on your end.
Good watching.
I got it now.
Good job watching. Are you protecting Mom and Shaden? Good job watching. Good boy. Good job. Good watching.
Post in the comments below what is wrong
13
here.
Tomorrow, and he's already got that protective instinct. Good watching.
13 weeks old tomorrow, and he's already got that protective instinct. Your dog, no dog, should have protective instincts at 13 weeks old. It's a baby. That would be like you walking around with, I don't know, a 3-year-old, 4-year-old child, and they're trying to fist fight everyone they see. Would say there's something wrong with your kid. And you definitely wouldn't encourage that. At 13 weeks old, this is a baby. It should be friendly with anyone and everyone. It's probably poor genetics. Now, some of you might be like, oh, that's awesome. That's exactly what I want. If you see a drop of it at this age, that dog is going to be a monster 6, 9 months old. What do I mean by a monster? I'm talking about a dog that is on edge. Dang PTSD dog. Thinking anyone and everyone is the boogeyman. It's already happening now. I think it was doing that without encouragement. It's already like, woof, woof, woof. It's doing the low Corso, woof, woof, woof. And she's thinking it's great. What's so great about it, lady? You're in a parking lot and there's people shopping. What is so suspicious about that? Gets me angry. What are you encouraging? You're encouraging your dog to bark at people doing their everyday activities. You're encouraging that behavior. All that's going to do is manifest. And now this dog's going to think every single person that walks anywhere near or around a vehicle is the boogeyman. And the only good thing that might come from this video, bro, is that hopefully this lady lives in and around Charlotte, and that same jackass lady that molested Thanos at the gas pumps yesterday, maybe the lady will leave the window down, come over to pet this one, and we'll all learn lessons that day. Everyone will learn a lesson. You should not be encouraging a 13-week-old puppy. Now, can you do like the beginning stages of bite work training, like tug work with a puppy? Yeah. Yeah, I'm all for it. Uncle Garrett's down with that. Let's just play and confidence building and teaching them the mechanics of the bite and showing them, not even at that age, I was going to say, you know, what's a bad guy and what's not. No, not at that age. You're not doing none of that. No. Right now, this lady's got it all back. At 13 weeks old, already showing his protective instincts. No, at 13 weeks old, he's showing you that's an insecure, unconfident dog that's afraid of people walking in a parking lot. And these people are like 30, 40, 50 feet away. What do you think's going to happen when this same nonsense, which I can guarantee you, you can kill the screen if you haven't already?
Yeah, it's already off.
If this same, and I guarantee you, this same exact behavior is going to be encouraged in the front yard, backyard, through the window, at the front door. Oh, yeah, it's the mailman. Woof, woof. Yeah, you watch that mailman. You're creating a monster, lady. You're an idiot. Don't do that.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Two things people were pointing it out. You know, that dog's wearing a vest, and we can assume, like, she's going to go for that service dog vest with that dog, you know, making the assumption there. But the other crazy thing is that this video I just found, and a few people in the comments said that they saw it, you know, this past week because it went pretty viral, had like 100K people who commented on this and basically were like, oh, how cute.
Yeah,
what a nice young puppy.
That's exactly why I want a Corso, like our friend at the gas station. Meaning that lady, well, there's the jackass at the gas station and the really sweet lady. The sweet lady's like, I want one because it's so protective. It's like, yeah, be very careful what you wish for. I cannot stress to you how that is going to 1,000x, even if it just 10x's. What does 10x of what you just saw look like? Especially when that dog's no longer 13 weeks old. It's 120, 140 pounds or bigger, the way these things are going. That dog will break through a window and kill someone, right? Idiot lady. But yeah, great pointing that out. She got a little service dog vest. Well, what kind of service dog are you creating there? You do not need to encourage that behavior. If you learn nothing else from the video, you do not need to encourage that behavior with these guardian breeds. It will come naturally. If anything, you want to temper it. Even better, you want to, here's the advice when people get these power breeds, these guardian breeds, they're like, hey, I want to prepare my dog to be protective. Okay, the best thing you can do is socialize the hell out of that dog. What? Build its confidence and let it know what good people look like, how they act, how they smell. And what do I mean by that? No fear scent, nice people. And then that will be a stark contrast when the drug addict, the homeless person, the guy who's just putting off what we call fear scent because he's high on, again, drugs, adrenaline dumping because he just broke into your home, and the dog will go, this is different. This is different. Because your protective dog is only good when it can be around you and nice people to protect you from the bad people. You know what I'm saying? How is a sheepdog supposed to protect the flock if it's attacking all the sheep? Makes sense? So, hey, you can quote me on that. I feel pretty proud of that one. But yeah, if your dog is so vicious that it's going to kill everybody in the parking lot, kill the mailman, bite your neighbor, not safe around anyone, you're going to be keeping them locked up in the back room somewhere, and ain't going to be there to protect you when a bad guy comes in. By the way, it's like a false sense of security. That's fear-based aggression, really. That is not a confident dog. And fear-based dogs do not make great protection dogs. They bite the wrong people for the wrong reasons. I think we're getting to a point now. We're probably a little into it. I want to see if our friend Steve is ready to rock and roll. He might even be watching this at home. Ooh,
yeah, he waved to you a little bit earlier.
He was in?
Yep.
Yeah. I have a video here that I don't even know if I want to play it. The one I talked about with the Dogo Argentino. I think I'll pass on it. Maybe we'll do it another time. All right, so Steve, you ready? We'll find out if he's ready, and then we'll give him a call. We're kind of doing this a little bit out of order, but I think he can help us kind of set the stage for the XL Bully Band. The only reason I'm calling him a little early is because, I don't know, it's a little later over there, so I don't want him staying up too late. And if not, I can push it back just a little bit. Or, I'll put it like this, or if we can push it back a little bit, we'll call you in a little while. Just keep an eye on the clock. All right.
He says he's here in the chat.
All right, perfect. I'm going to skip some of these. Woman attacked by 2 pit bulls. Check this one out. I'm going to play this one just to set the stage. Now, we've seen these dogs now go after a cat. go after a horse. Now you're going to see this same frenzy. You're going to see that same energy, that same drive of two large Cane Corsos who this close to killing a woman. All right, let me pull this up and then let me know when you're ready, brother. And then we'll
attack
see if we can get on the call with Steve.
I am ready.
All right, ready to roll? Let me turn this volume up.
With a dog in Modesto happened on Dauphin Drive this afternoon near Creekwood Drive. CBS 13's Madison Keevy is there with the details.
Recent.
Madison.
A 93-year-old woman parks her car in front of her house after a doctor's appointment. But before she can go from the sidewalk to the grass to her front door, she's taken down by two Cane Corsos that have bite strength stronger than lions. And neighbors believe if it weren't for them intervening, she may have not survived.
You see her laying there, like, what are you gonna do, walk away?
Blood on the woman's glasses, her cane, and shoes left by her front door. The result of a fear Janice Dendulk has had for months.
I mean, we knew they weren't friendly.
The dogs, two Cane Corsos, caught on Dendulk's doorbell camera moments before an attack, now under investigation by Modesto PD.
I just opened the door and we left the screen, and they're the two big old dogs, and I'm like, oh, we're not gonna answer the door.
She knew their history, growling at neighbors on walks, terrifying sounds overheard from her neighbor's backyard. Enough to keep her daughter away.
Once we started hearing them fight each other and try to break down the gate, I wouldn't let her go over there anymore.
Moments after this video, Modesto PD say the dogs went on to attack Dendulk's 93-year-old neighbor.
Look at the
Moments after this video, Modesto PD say the dogs went on to attack Dendulk's 93-year-old neighbor. She intervened, throwing the now bloody shoes and heavy planter pots from the yard at the dogs. Enough time to pull the woman, injured on multiple parts of her body, inside her home. But the dogs didn't stop there.
And the dog runs up at me, and so I run back in the house.
The dog's alleged owners wouldn't comment on what happened and denied they had dogs at all. The woman attacked on the mind of her neighbors and family.
I'm just thankful that she's stable, and that's been my focus.
Now, those two dogs are now in a 10-day rabies quarantine, and it's still unclear what the next steps will be, according to Modesto police. But neighbors tell me, although this was a tragic event, they breathe a little more relief tonight, knowing they can walk in their neighborhood and on their sidewalks without fear of those two dogs getting out again.
Yeah, why were they loose in the first place? Madison, thank you.
That's a lot of dog, man. I can handle my own with maybe one of those, but if two of those were coming after me, it would be a lot to deal with. That lady's super lucky that the neighbors were there. Otherwise, we'd be talking about a completely different incident. Crazy, man. Those are big, powerful dogs. Anybody, any comments or anything like that we want to address before we go a little deeper into this subject?
We do have a question. Someone's asking, would you recommend rescuing a Cane Corso?
Ooh, that's a touchy one. Look, I'm going to save that for the rescue experts. Again, reach out to our friends Max Tran and West Coast Cane Corso Rescue. Yes, sometimes rescuing is the answer, but with anything, it's a roll of the dice. You got to ask yourself, why is that dog there? We won't know its history. We may not know its genetics. What do I mean by that? If it's not coming from a breeder, not to say like coming, because there's all types of breeders out there, but if you know where the dog's coming from and you're buying from a reputable breeder, they're breeding not just for looks, but more importantly, for temperament. Meaning they know the history, they know the temperament of the mother and the mother's line and the father's line. They know if there's literal killers, if there's ones with the shaky genetics, and they, best they can, weed that out, breed it out, and only breed, confident dogs or whatever it is they're breeding. But again, there's also working line dogs, both in Corsos, but even a golden retriever. You can get a working line golden retriever, you can get a pet grade chill golden retriever. Same with Labradors and just about every other dog on the planet. It's not just the breed, it's more like the genetics in that line. And then what we say 50% nature, 50% nurture. Now, is it exactly 50-50? No, but both come into play. Meaning that pit bull that was attacking the horse, that's nature. That wasn't taught. The pit bull was going after the cat. Nature. These Corsos going after humans, nature. Something's wrong there. I highly doubt they were training in the backyard for these dogs to take down little old ladies. These dogs were just out on a hunt, and they came across a prey item. What was it? A weak and feeble old woman. And the way people walk, whether they're drunk or they're stumbling, it gets dogs and wolves up in a frenzy. Let's save that story for another day, but dogs are very much target locked through thousands of years of genetic evolution to target the weak and the feeble and the elderly, things that are low on the floor. They love to target prey items. That's why we may talk about it here, but we have other videos coming up. If a dog does come to attack you, should you act like a prey item or should you act like a predator? The answer is act like a predator, all right? The more you act like a prey item, falling on the ground, rolling away, running away, trying to get away like a rabbit, the more the dog's going to treat you like a rabbit. If you act like a damn grizzly bear, that's when the dog's going to think twice. All right, that's your best bet when possible. So, and we have videos of that literally showing the stark difference between the two. Happens too if a dog comes after your little dog, we have videos of that, you playing the keep away game with your little dog. Your best bet is to bring the fight to the dogs that are coming after you, and the predator wants to chase a prey item. The predator, generally speaking, does not want to go toe-to-toe with another predator. All right, let's move on to, let's see what Steve's got to say, see if he's ready to go or if we want to push it back. Stevie wonders. Stevie's going to wait for his perfect. So I'm going to skip some more. We got a woman attacked by 2 pit bulls. This is the one I want to show. Here we go. Very recent. I want to say 3 months old. Y'all probably seen this once again. A little ugly to watch on this particular video. It's going to be, well, I'll preface it. A pack of loose dogs, not too dissimilar than the video we just saw, except this is captured on camera. Now, the quality is not perfect, but bear with me. Audio is pretty cool to listen to. These dogs are on a rampage, running around, just attacking anything and everything. Literal, like, feeding frenzy, if you will. Pack mentality. They're on the hunt. And they target a full-grown man. It's a full-size Corso and 3 potentially pit bulls. That's what they're described as. Again, I got to be careful. Don't piss off pit bull people. A Corso and 3 other dogs. You tell me what they are. And an officer ends up having to shoot the dog. And you can see the officer hesitates. He doesn't want to do it. He's got to do it, in this case, to save this guy. Let's watch this video. I'm going to pull it up. And thanks, Steve, for hanging out.
This disturbing video of a dog attack remains
Let me know when we're up.
This disturbing...
Sorry, go ahead.
We're ready?
Yep.
All right.
This disturbing video of a dog attack remains under investigation tonight. A 53-year-old man mauled by 4 dogs in Mantua. One of the animals shot and killed by a police officer who is now on administrative leave. It is Thursday night, and the big story on Action News is 1 man injured, 1 dog killed, and 3 other dogs still on the loose after that horrible attack.
We'll just let it play
Police
out.
are trying to find the 3 pit bulls and their owner. Action News reporter Leland Pender is live at police headquarters with the very latest. Leland.
Yeah, Rick, really just a horrifying situation here. Police say this all began when a witness pointed out that pack of dogs to an officer who was on patrol in the neighborhood. It happened Wednesday morning in Mantua at Fairmount Avenue and Union.
That looks like a pit or pit bull type breed, but it's like, wow, that's a big dog. Wait till this Corso comes into frame.
Streets.
That's a big dog. That's a $110, $120, I don't know. That's big. Twice the size of the big dog. It's an XL Corso. I mean, it's a big dog. Here we go.
Disturbing video that police say they're using as part of their investigation shows the man fighting back against 4 loose dogs. Neighbors say he was trying to protect his own dog. We blur the video when he's taken to the ground. People nearby try to help, but the dogs threaten to attack. One woman barely gets away. Police say an officer on scene used his sirens to distract the dogs, but when that didn't work, he opened fire.
I heard 4 gunshots.
It all unfolded right in front of Sharon Owen's home.
It was scary.
Pretty
it was
wild,
very
huh?
scary because that's like too close for comfort to hear.
So, I mean, it begs the question, and this will kind of segue us to the next one. They just banned XL bullies beginning of this year, or end of last year, whatever you want to call it. Talking 6-7 months ago. Banned. Okay, well, what's next? If you're in the UK and you can't buy an XL bully, what's your next best choice? If that's what you're in the market for. The Corso. And these Corsos are taking people down left and right. I'm going to go to the next one, if we may. But because it's like, because, oh, that dog only bit the person. Okay, well, let me show you the one where they don't make it. These are all over the place, so let me find it. You see the one, Spider? I'm looking for the one in Canada. Here it is. I got it. If you haven't seen this, you're not going to see the action.
This past week has been a nightmare for Wesley Grist.
Can I come up?
Yeah, I'm up. You ready?
Yeah, I'm just... All right.
It's like a 2-minute video. This is about 4 to 6 months old. Maybe you all heard about it. I think a 10 to 12-year-old boy was killed by 2 Corsos. Again, one of my favorite breeds on the planet. Literally killing people. Trying to kill people, getting shot by the police while trying to kill people, attacking old people. In this case, kills a young boy. Now, the difference on this one, all those other cases were strangers. This is, well, you hear it from the father. He's going to describe to you in his own words the kid's relationship with the dogs.
It's a horrible tragedy, big time. One that I have to relive almost every day.
Last Monday, in this Edmonton neighborhood, Grist's 11-year-old son Cash was attacked and killed by 2 very large dogs. Cash had been visiting his father from BC. Grist says he was working outside the house, and his son had just come back from the store with some snacks.
Just before he went inside, he came over, gave me a hug, and he told me he loved me, and told him I loved him. And I told him I was like, I'll be in a few minutes.
He does not know exactly what happened next.
And I walked in the house, and when I walked in, I was seeing something like, I thought that I heard the dogs making a commotion, and I seen a mess, and I didn't know what it was, what I was looking at. Nobody wants to see any child like that. But to have to be the parent and find your child like that, that's the hardest thing I've ever been through in my whole life.
Grist says the dogs belong to his roommate. Cash's mom says he told her they were Connie Corsi, the same breed as this one seen here, which can grow to more than 100 pounds. The city of Edmonton says animal control had been to the house twice this year for complaints of attacks that also took place inside the house. But Grist says these dogs had not been problematic with Cash.
I watch these dogs cuddle with him almost every day. There's never been an issue like this. There's nothing, and I would never put my son in a spot where he was at risk.
Cash's parents say the dogs have been put down. For Grist, his feelings towards the animals are complicated, and he does not blame his roommate.
I'm not happy about it. The lives that ultimately resulted in my son's life ending are gone, so I can't ask for anything more than that.
He's speaking out because his roommate has been attacked online. He calls it all a distraction as he tries to grieve.
When I'm the most vulnerable, I feel like I'm being taken away from dealing with.
So, I just want to ask you all, what do you think went wrong there? I wasn't there, I don't know. We'll say a 10 to 12-year-old boy, he leaves to go to the store, he comes back 10 minutes later, if I heard the story correct, and his son has already been killed by these 2 dogs. What went wrong? What is it, we asked the question, is it because of the breed? Is it because they're Corsos? Is it a lack of training? Definitely some of that. For sure, some of that. These dogs probably thought they ruled the roost, because there's another video later, I'm not going to find it, but these dogs attacked another woman like maybe a month prior to this or something and caused serious injury. Again, several calls and complaints about these dogs attacking people in the neighborhood, so out of pocket. Is it genetics? Is it the breed? Is it poor ownership? You tell me. But even still, you can have dogs that are maybe aggressive towards people outside of the family, but you would never think they would do that to someone in your, within your family, family member. But I don't think this kid lived at that home full time. I think that's part of the factor. I think he was more of like a guest. So maybe when dad's around, the wolves are at bay, so to speak. And then when dad's not there, I don't know what popped off, but not pretty. And it's just very sad. It's very, very sad. And all I'm getting at is this things continue to happen. What's going to become of the breed? Are they going to push a ban? What is going to happen? And I think we're going to show a video that you can't even find on the internet. I was told probably not to play it, but it is. I have seen countless dog bites with trained police dogs. Gruesome. I've seen some just, you know, rough stuff in person. This is still probably the most violent and horrific and bloody dog attack video I've ever seen online or in person. It is rough to watch. We literally cannot show you the whole thing. The video will get pulled from the internet. We will show you the first few seconds. Again, look away. You know, for those who are squeamish, I am not trying to sensationalize this. I am trying to show you the power of these dogs. And I'll preface it with this. What you're going to see is a video of a man named Ian Price over in the UK. I want to say this is sometime in 2023, probably close to about a year ago. I'm gonna pull up the article first, and we'll kind of read through it together, and you're gonna see a picture of him, and then we're gonna contrast that with the video, and I think that will set the stage for the video. So can we share this? Mm-hmm. And bear with me, I don't know what's gonna be on this screen, a bunch of ads, you know how these things go. But here's the article. I'll read some of the highlights. Man begs people to stop sharing sick video. Well, we're gonna be sharing it. To learn from it, and as much respect as we can. But, and like I said, we're not going to show you the whole thing, just a touch, so you get a feel for it. What could happen? Again, this guy was not expecting this. He doesn't know these dogs. So, mauled to death by 2 XL bullies. Ian Price, 52, was defending his elderly mother from the devil dogs, which then attacked him on a residential street in Staffordshire. The owner of the 2 XL bullies bragged he was, quote, building a lion before the attack. Building these tough dogs, I guess. Here's a picture of the 2 dogs in question. And then we'll show you the owner here. You know, healthy guy, average size, looks like he could hold his own. He could not hold his own against these 2 unbelievably powerful dogs. So the strongest dog I've ever had at the end of the leash was, guess what, an XL bully. His name is Future, 130-pound beefcake, just like a rock. These dogs, right on par with him as far as size and definitely strength. And thank God, though, Future is one of the sweetest and nicest dogs you could ever meet. That dog wouldn't hurt a fly. Like, he might hurt you by stepping on you. He's a powerful big dog. Sweet as can be. That's what's so interesting. Is it the breed? Or is it the training? Is it the genetics? There's so much to it. But I always had in the back of the mind, because Future was a freaking wild animal, though. Completely untrained, and we got him late in the game, around 2 years old. And he was difficult to train just because of his sheer size. So if he wanted something, he went after it with everything he had and just about rip your arm off. We like to practice side submission so that we can get the dog prepped for baths and nail trimming and going to the vet. But I'm going to paint the picture for you. When we first started working on the side submission with him, he never was violent, but that boy didn't want nothing to do with getting his nails trimmed. It literally took 4 grown men to hold him down. I was on his back, and that boy lifted me up like a push-up and started carrying me away like he was an elephant and I was a fly on his back. That dog, unbelievably powerful. I actually have a scar from him right here. Maybe can or can't see it, but just from his claw, because he and I were wrestling on the ground just to get him to maintain a side position so that I could, a side lateral position it's called, so I could trim his nails. But power, raw power. All right, I'm going to try to show you a snippet of this video. Again, this is just to wrap your head around the power and what it might be like witnessing someone literally getting mauled to death by 2 of these power breeds. And then after this, we're going to call Steve and get his opinion on the whole matter, the band of XL bullies. So let me make sure the quality's, probably want to keep the quality down, you know what I'm saying? We're going to try to blur it a little bit, but then if you blur it, you're not seeing anything. So I'll show about 5 seconds. And that's all I'm going to show because it is very rough after this. But you have several people from the neighborhood, grown men, most of them elderly. They're using garbage cans, sticks, bricks, anything and everything they can find to break these dogs up. We go back to the power and the drive. These dogs have no quit in them. What are these dogs? Power breeds, working line dogs. If anything, you just make it worse. I know this sounds like a contradiction because I said you got to do what you can to fight off dogs like this. But this guy, what ends up happening is this guy, by the time this is getting filmed, this has been going on for at least minutes, maybe longer, 2, 3, 5, 10 minutes, I don't know. But he's absolutely cooked. He has no gas left in the tank. He can't even stand up. And he's just being pulled from both ends. And these dogs are literally, like, if you've seen what it looks like a lion taken down, or a pack of lions taking down a gazelle, that's the picture we got to paint for you. So really gruesome, really ugly. It is, again, I'm a big dog lover, but when you see something like this and you see dogs capable of doing something like this, you got to ask yourself, like, how do we prevent this? This is not fair to the family. The guy didn't wake up that day knowing that he was literally going to get killed by 2 dogs in his own neighborhood. This is crazy. So I agree, like, something has to be done. And the question is, and we'll call Steve now,
well,
is it the XL bully ban? Go ahead.
I was going to point out, I don't know if we talked about it yet, but I think what's important with this video too is to mention, like, how many people tried to get in the mix of this to stop what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
What was done with the dogs, what was thrown at them,
Mm-hmm.
what was attempted, and how just nothing prevailed in the end.
Nothing.
I mean, they threw bricks at these dogs, literally, in the video. And a dog in that kind of drive, unstoppable, really.
Yeah, almost, yes. Unless you know what you're doing. And we've talked about it in other videos, and I think now's the perfect time to mention it, right before we call Steve. The only way you stop a dog or dogs like that, you have to shut off oxygen. So what do I mean? I don't think they're wearing any equipment, but you got to find a piece of rope, a leash, anything, and you got to wrap it around that dog's neck, and you lift and hold, and you turn off oxygen. Just like in the MMA fights. What is the fastest way, the most powerful fighter you could think of? Mike Tyson, Conor McGregor, take your pick. None of them will fight through like a rear naked choke, we'll say. Like, they might try to fight through, but they if it's hooked, if you got them, they're tapping out, and quickly, or they're going out, and not like minutes, like 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. If it's done right. So whether it's a lack of oxygen or blood flow, it really induces the dog. More than anything, it creates a gag reflex. By the way, this is exactly how police dogs are choked off the bite on the street about 99% of the time. 99% of the time, these dogs are not verbally outing. They are being what we call a tactical removal. Next time you see a dog bite, a police dog bite, watch how the dog comes off. The handler usually comes over and is using one tool or another, but typically the collar lifting up and choking the dog off the bite. And when done correctly, the dog can come off in about 3 to 5 seconds. 30 seconds if you don't know what you're doing. That's it. So I'll say it a different way. If I was there, those dogs would have been taken off. No problem. I just would have had an issue because I'll take one off and then I go back to the other, and then this one will come right back into the fight. So that's one of the issues when you go to choke a dog off using your hands or your arm or something, which is very dangerous. Well, what do you do? What do you do? Like, because the dog's not typically getting put out. It's just usually the first step is it just creates a gag reflex and they let go. They don't want to let go. They have to let go. If you hold longer and longer, and some dogs will kind of fight through it, but you could see there's a couple videos out there of dogs being kind of choked, like somewhat kind of woozy, like unconscious, you know, maybe out for like 5 seconds, boom, they're right back up. Anyways, it's, you know, I'm hypothetical situations here speculating, but I want you all to at least, if you're watching this, you can walk away with that. If you or one of your loved ones or one of your kids is getting attacked by a dog of any kind, choking them off is the only way you're going to guarantee the dog to let go. A friend of mine just used it the other day. He watched our videos. He says, Garrett, you know your video where you talked about that? It came into play. He was at the park, and 2 dogs started getting into it, not his. and they were going at it and going at it and going at it. And then he came over, he's like, and this lady's pouring water on the dogs, kicking the dogs, can't get these dogs to break up. And he goes, do you want help? She goes, please help me. Reached down, as I showed him in the videos, lifted up on the collar. He said, Garrett, within 2-3 seconds, the dog was off. And the lady was super happy. So there you go, you know. Let's go ahead and call Stevie Wonder. Perfect. Call him up right now. Hopefully this works out for you. Thanks for your all's patience. You know, we try to make this fresh and back to back and people to answer when you call, but it doesn't always happen on a live. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Stevie Wonder.
You got me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sounds like a lion roaring, but we got you.
Oh, I think that was my chair. That's all right. I was just sitting up.
Perfect. So we got you, man. I know you've been following along. I think you just saw that video of Ian Price getting murdered by those two dogs.
Staffordshire, actually. Staffordshire's that's my home county. That was a big deal around here.
Wow.
It's like 20 minutes away from me.
Wow. So that's right where you live. So, I mean, we're talking about that hit home. I don't want to talk much over you. Just tell us, man. Tell us where you're at with this whole XL bully ban, the pit bull ban, your particular dog, this case with Ian Price, wherever you want to start.
Yeah. It's weird, actually. When you messaged me, like, I don't know, 90 minutes ago saying, hey, do you want to jump on this? Weirdly, I'd just gone into the pub to get myself another pint. My dog is very spicy with other dogs. And before I left him with my wife, I said, you remember how to break up a fight, right? And she was like, lift and hold. Like, exactly, perfect. I tell her that every single time. And I think that's half the problem of everything in this country, and potentially all the problems that you guys have with dogs over there as well, is a complete lack of education. And it's born from way too many factors, half of which is like anthropomorphization. People thinking these dogs are babies and children and all this absolute nonsense. As far as my thought on the ban, it was entirely avoidable maybe 20, 25 years ago. But at this point, I think the government over here, at least, were very much backed into a corner through their own ineptitude, because the people that they have advising them on teaching people how to train their dogs and raise dogs and regulate that whole side of things have absolutely no business dealing with anything bigger than a hamster.
And I think to set the stage too,
it's an ideological issue.
Yeah. And to set the stage too, you know, so can you tell them about how old you are and maybe tell us a little about your dog? And for those who don't know, I didn't introduce him properly. Steve's been on our team, an editor. Just if you love one of our videos, guaranteed Steve or Styles made it. And Steve's just a kick-ass editor, and outside of, you know, working with us, he's just a friend and has a keen eye for dog behavior. I mean, before we even started working together, one of the reasons we picked him is because he has a passion for dogs. And you can tell us a little about the dog you have?
Oh yeah. So I have we got him as a rescue as a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. We had him genetically tested because he's definitely not a full-bred Staffordshire Bull Terrier. He's got about 5 different types of bully in it. We got him at, I think he was 9 months old, and he loved everything, was friendly with everything, didn't care about anything else that moved, loved other dogs. And maybe 2 months later, he wanted to kill everything that moved, as long as it wasn't on 2 legs. He never had a problem with people. But you saying about that misplaced prey drive, that was him in a nutshell. It was like, it didn't matter if it was a horse, it didn't matter if other dogs that he'd played with previously, that he would have previously been comfortable with. And that whole thing took me down a the organisation that we got him from, I won't name and shame because I don't want to give them any publicity anyway. They are one of the biggest rescue societies, charities in this country. And at the handover point, when we got, when we picked up Riley, my dog, they said, "Are you going to crate train him?" I said, "Oh yeah, absolutely, we've got the crate." And the woman said to me, "Okay, that's fine, but don't you ever close the door." And I'd been told by a friend that they go down this route and just smile and nod and deal with it. And it was just the same kind of nonsense. As soon as he's misbehaving, if he's doing something you don't want to do, turn your back and ignore him. Leave the room.
Hey, that's the Victoria Stilwell special. Just turn your back and just ignore it, and that behavior will go away. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, so, well, what we found was when you turn your back, he just tears down the other curtain, which didn't help us at all.
Yeah.
And I guess the point I'm making with that is that these are the people that are advising the government. And these are the people that have embedded themselves within our government and have been there for decades at this point. So the idea of being able to get these people to train people how to manage a power breed is nonsense. They've got no business dealing with dogs of that size. They couldn't teach me how to train my dog. My dog's 45 pounds. And so the idea of them trying to deal with 1, 2, 3 times the size of that, absolute nonsense.
Well, here's a question for you. Have you had any issues with your dog kind of resembling a pit bull or a bully type of breed?
I was very on edge about that whole thing for, I don't know, a good 3-4 months while it was going through. He, as far as the government's criteria goes, he pretty much meets it. But they're not going around pulling dogs like mine off the street. My thought on it is that they've made that law so broad so that if any kind of bully breed does ever kick off, they can just destroy it. No questions asked. They went through like a situation where they spent 8 weeks trying to define exactly what an American bully was, like an American XL bully, by UK standards, because it wasn't an official breed over here. Now, my thought with that was, well, there is already a standard to that. If you just call your friends in America, they'll tell you exactly what it is. So the fact that you now have to redefine it tells me you're doing that for a different reason.
And would you say that I think the death of Ian Price just fast-tracked this whole thing, or it was coming anyways?
Oh, man, it was coming anyway. And the problem is that it's like you said, there's very much an issue with a media issue. There's so many bites and attacks and things that don't get reported because they don't get clicks. And that's been a massive reason why bullies in general have been persecuted. But I mean, I think the Stephen Price one was on kind of the tail end when there was already stuff in the works.
Yeah. And to be clear, for those who don't understand what the XL bully ban is, we did a little bit of research. I mean, we've been keeping an eye on it. First and foremost, the government actually has a website where they've listed out exactly what qualifies an XL bully to be one, with photos to accompany it. But it's also up for interpretation, because it's very much basically is saying a strong, powerful, muscular breed with a blockhead. I'm somewhat paraphrasing here, but this is some of the verbiage. A blockhead is actually one of the words they use. And then they describe the height, and I think they describe the weight. And basically, if your dog falls into that category, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And like Steve just mentioned, you know, they leave it open to where if basically they have the ability to take your dog if it's fitting that criteria. Now, where I find it very interesting is, well, what if you have, here's just a hypothetical, what if you have a XL bully crossed with a Cane Corso? Does that follow in the XL bully ban? I mean, it's probably going to be hit those same, it's going to have those, it's going to be the looks like a duck, acts like a duck, it's a duck, but is it a duck? I don't know. And it's not like they're going around doing DNA sampling, I guess, right before they take your dog. And they also highly encourage neighbors to report on neighbors. If you see a dog that you believe is not, it's actually written. If you see a dog that you believe is not following the letter of the law and is not have their special certificate, please call this number. Now, to be clear, also on the XL bully ban, what it requires is, because this came into effect late December 2023, and that by a certain cutoff date, which I think was somewhere in January or February, you had to have registered your dog and neutered it, also got a certain level of home insurance, and a couple of other things, and you would not be allowed to take that dog out into public unless it was leashed and muzzled at all times. Also some restrictions on, I think, what's that?
Including in your car.
Oh, in your car. So even if the dog's in your car, if it's out of your house, you got to have a muzzle on it. If you're taking it on a walk, muzzle on it. And anyway, it's just kind of crazy that the government has that much control over y'all in the first place. But y'all also, I mean, we're going to get into a big political discussion now. But
this is why you left, right?
yeah. So they banned guns over in the UK, though people still get shot, much far less than in the US. Now they just stab the shit out of each other is what they do over there. So now they've actually, do you know about the zombie knife ban? Is that I know it's a thing, I just don't remember if it's been passed or not, but they were looking at banning zombie knives.
No, zombie knives have been banned for, I don't know, I think 5-6 years, something like that. And
crazy.
I mean, again, even with that, it's like, what the hell classes as a zombie knife? It's just a big knife that looks weird. There's no real, definition of it.
Yep, exactly my point. So now that's what I was going to ask you next, Steve, is what's the next dog to be banned over there? Because we got Corsos. We just showed multiple videos of Corsos killing people, attacking, maiming.
It's Corsos, it's Pressers. I mean, Bulls, thankfully, aren't crazy popular over here, but as soon as they ban the other two, then they will be.
Yes.
It's a race to the bottom.
A race to the bottom, man. You said it there, because now, again, to continue on the ban, if you have one and you follow all the protocols, you can keep it, but you can no longer breed them, you can no longer sell them, transfer them, buy them, you can't do anything. Point being, let's just say all these dogs live another 10 years. In about 8, 10, or 12 years, the XL Bully technically will no longer exist as a breed over in the UK. But guess what?
Samson Pitbull.
Exactly, which was when? When did that take place? Like the 80s or 90s?
Early to mid-90s, maybe 94, 95, I think, but don't quote me on that.
Which again, it's the pit bull. It's just such an elusive, what's a pit, what's not a pit. It's wild. But anyways, you say you can't have a pit bull. Well, you could have an XL bully, and then fast track 10, 15, 20 years later. Well, you can't have an XL bully anymore. So right now, if you are over in the UK and you are in the market for a strong type of power breed, well, you can't get an XL bully. What's the next best thing? Dogo Argentino, Cane Corso, Presa Canario. It's only a matter of time before those are banned. And then now you're going to come up with these funky hybrids. Like, I'm just going to name one right now that I'm seeing a lot of. The NAM, or the NAM, the North American Mastiff. It's like a cross between everything I just mentioned. Looks a lot like a XL Bully crossed with a Corso, and they're really big on their merle coloring. Again, I don't know much about these dogs. I've only met one, but if it's got all those same genetics, it's only a matter of time with a dog of that much strength and power before, guess what, they kill someone. But my point being is you can just, I think they've done the same with like, what was it, like bath salts or something here in the US, where they would ban the certain formula or chemistry, and this is drugs you could basically buy in a gas station. It's like synthetic marijuana and all this stuff. I'm not a drug expert by any means, but all they would do is just change the formulation and put it right back on the market and change the formulation. So that's all the XL Bully is anyways, just a formulation, right? It's wild, man. Race to the bottom is right. You said it best. Are there any questions that the folks have for Stevie Wonder? Yeah, go ahead and post some questions. If you have any specific questions about Steve and being over in the UK and the bully man, or if his feelings are still hurt from us celebrating 4th of July recently, now's the time to make fun of him, our British friend. And did you know that one of the staples in an English breakfast is baked beans? I don't know what is wrong with these people.
Telling me this.
Yes.
You don't have to have beans.
You don't, but it's part of it, man. I don't know. That just doesn't make sense. Tea and crumpets and baked beans. So we'll wait for one of those questions to come in. But any final thoughts?
I did see someone ask if Rottweilers are banned. They are not, but they are getting a lot more popular. Surprise, surprise.
There you go. There you go.
There was a comment earlier.
We got a comment from earlier.
There was a comment earlier that said, the day that the XL bullies were banned, the Connie Corso searches exploded in the UK, like 1,000.
Ha! Did you hear that, Steve?
Oh, yeah. I believe that.
Of course.
I mean, I haven't got anecdotal evidence. There aren't really... I don't live in a Corso town. Thankfully, it's all oodles and doodles and just nonsense little dogs like that. If you're a doodle owner, no offense, just not my thing. The Rottweilers are taking off.
There you go.
And,
there you go.
Yeah.
Just another power breed, you know.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, any closing remarks or any other questions before we? Yep.
Not really, man. The whole thing is a sad state of affairs. It's cost a lot of dogs their lives unnecessarily. It's cost a lot of people their lives just through sheer lack of education and ignorance on not only the owner's part but the authorities' part. It's the whole thing's just it's a massive disappointment. I don't think they had any choice, but I still don't think it's right.
Yeah, and I think we're in agreement that, you might have got rid of the XL bully, but that's not going to stop stupid people from doing stupid things and buying dogs and not training them, and there will still be murders on the horizon. Again, just to the same thing. They banned guns, well, now people just stab each other to death. Okay, well, they banned zombie knives, no problem. By the way, the criminals don't follow those silly little laws when they're out trying to murder someone, right?
No, the criminals still have guns. The criminals still have large knives.
Yep. Crazy, man. So, I'm sorry you live over there.
Me too.
I was going to say, we can't wait to have you. We're actually planning on Steve to come over to the U.S. We'll be having him on, and we'll call it his Freedom Tour over here in the amazing United States of America, where we still have XL bullies, and we have firearms, and we do not eat baked beans for breakfast. We'll show you what a real American breakfast is all about.
I was going to say, I finally got my passport sorted, so I'm ready to go on that.
There we go. Well, give some love to Steve in the comments section. Thank you so much, Steve, for joining us. And we're going to have him back on for a round 2, probably when we talk about the coming ban on prong collars and e-collars in the UK and across Europe, and how coupled with these power breeds, it's a nightmare waiting to happen. So, well, thanks again, Steve. I appreciate it.
Thank you, bud.
Bye. All right, cool. So we heard it from Steve. Really appreciate his time. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. I mean, it's one thing to hear an American talking about things that are happening over in the UK. We're just watching from afar and laughing. But it's kind of sad, really. It's sad. Again, a lot of, showing that video of Ian Price, it is not for the gore factor. It is to paint a realistic picture of what's really happening, and maybe do some honor to his death and his family, so that we can talk about these things. It's just sad. It's just really sad. And it's not isolated to the UK. This is happening in our neighborhoods. It could happen to someone watching this right now. You could walk out of your house and boom, you could have a couple of Corsos on you. You could be anywhere. You could be walking through a parking lot And that lady with her 13-week-old puppy who's already growling at strangers could be in that same parking lot with you, and maybe that dog pushes on the window button and it rolls down and jumps out and bites some little kid or something. We never know. Anything else we want to add, or any other little pieces of content that we want to say before we close this out? We could literally talk about this on and on and on. I think I'll just give you some of my closing remarks and we'll wrap it up, or take a couple of questions, any comments. Shoot them to me right now. Now's your chance. Again, there's more to show you, but we have to be very selective on what we show. Probably already showed too much. I would not be surprised if this video is going to be age restricted or demonetized. I don't care about the demonetization part, but when it's age restricted, so many less people get to see it. So shoot me some questions as they come in. Otherwise, I'll just kind of give you my Jerry Springer's, what was his favorite thing that he would say like at the end? Jerry's like final thoughts. You remember? Is that too old for you? Damn, man, you poor boy missed out on Jerry Springer's. Springer's final thoughts or whatever it was. You had to wait for that, man. You had to. So I'd like to get a couple comments in before my final thoughts. Anything?
I'm waiting for something to fall in.
All right, y'all. Type away. Type faster. Let's go.
There was a question about, I don't know if you're familiar with the Catahoula leopard.
Yeah, I am not familiar with them. I know what it looks like. I've never trained one.
I think I can rephrase it too. They were kind of just asking about, like, what do you think about the rising popularity in the breed? Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to phrase it in the sense of, like, what do you think in general about this kind of thing about dog trends and, like, the cooler, the newer, the more trendy, the more powerful, these kind of features that define a dog, and how they start to pick up trends until people realize this dog has a personality of its own, and now they're kind of adopting them before they even know what it's like to handle one.
I mean, we're seeing it happen right now. We already talked about it. Trends. Frenchies have been on a big trend. Corsos are right now on a trend. Malinois have been on a trend, all recent trends. And it's the latest and greatest. And I think people, they do not realize what they're buying, what they're investing in. And then there's another factor to it. So there's two parts. The part is, as the buyer, as the consumer, they want to do it for the gram. You know what I'm saying? They just can't wait to get their 13-week-old Corso puppy and film it being, quote, protective in the parking lot, and that video has hundreds of thousands of likes. Everybody wants to you know, have it, and so many people are making these accounts for their dogs, and a lot of them end or start with, you know, something Cane Corso. I see them all the time. And we're kind of bashing on everyone not trying to. There's some people out there doing fantastic work. Responsible breeders, responsible owners who are doing the right thing. This is an amazing dog for the right person, but I'll say it again till I die. This dog is not. The Corso and all these other power breeds are not for 99% of the public. Why? Because most of y'all cannot handle a 15, 20-pound Maltese, Poodle, Shih Tzu. Y'all can't do it. You can't handle your dang golden retriever, 60, 70, 80 pounds. What are you going to do with a 120, 130, 140-pound dog? I'm laughing because we have a 135-pound Boer Bull that we just got today, and my wife went to take it for a walk. She loves that breed. That dog was walking her. But again, this dog's not trained yet. There's a lot of dog. And my wife knows what she's doing, but she was doing fine on her own. She's not going to have to grab the leash or anything. I was filming it and laughing because that dog will take you for a ride. And I shouldn't even be laughing. I just remembered I was holding the leash. This dog got spooked by something and took me for a ride. It's like holding on to a dang choo-choo train. Very powerful. And so to your point, I kind of getting off topic, but the people aren't looking into that. They're not getting behind. You know, when you know, that's interesting. Before you buy a car, you typically take it for a test drive, right? You do your research. You're going to spend $20, $30, $40, $50, $60,000 or more on your next car. Maybe you spend some time. You see what other people are saying, the reviews, and then you get in it and take it for a drive. Problem is, there's not really places you can go test drive a dog. I mean, there is, but it's not as commonplace. But that's why we say if you're going to get a breed, you got to go to the breeders. You got to find somebody that owns that dog, and not just one. You got to see a lot of them. You got to get hands-on time. You got to take that dog for a test drive. Don't just base it off of a video you saw or Donald's looking cool doing bite work. No, that's 0.01% of owning one. And so keep me on topic here. We're talking about the fad. And I think, if I'm correct, people aren't doing the research or very minimal. And it's very cheap entry point, which brings me to the second part. Because it's a fad, because people are jumping on the bandwagon, you got people out there seeing the money, baby, the money. I was just watching a video the other day. It was an article and video, news article. We're saving it for another live/podcast, where it was a doper's home, some drug dealer. I don't remember where, but they hit the house for the dope. What did they find inside, my friends? They had over 45 Frenchies being bred out of that home. That's just wrong. There is no way having 45 dogs for breeding, like that can't be. Maybe if you're a breeder, you could post in the comments, maybe I'm an idiot, but I don't think it's ever a wise thing, responsible, clean, hygienic, healthy, whatever you want to call it. How do you manage 45 dogs? And if you're breeding 45 dogs, what my assumption is most of those are females. Let's just say 30 are females, and they're popping out how many litters a year? 1 or 2? I don't know. Man, they're popping out hundreds of dogs a year. And that's Frenchies. Luckily, Frenchies aren't out there killing people, but that's a fad. My point, though, is like, how ethical was that operation? First off, it's a dope house that the police are hitting with a search warrant, and then they stumbled across basically an illegal, unethical, quote, backyard breeding program. But typically, when I think of a backyard breeder, I think of, in my mind, folks who have just 1 or 2 dogs, right? Or they breed with somebody else's dog, but it's not a full-on operation, and they're just breeding dogs and selling them for cheap. Now, if y'all haven't seen it, check out our podcast. I'm not even trying to plug it, but it just came to me. We dropped about 2 weeks ago, episode 1 with West Coast Cane Corso Rescue and Max Trent, talking about all these issues too, like from a different perspective of the idea of the overbreeding, the bad breeding, and the rescue catastrophe, what we coin as the Cane Corso crisis happening because everybody and their mom, I mean, just look at it. Everybody and their mom wants a Corso. Now everybody and their mom is breeding Corsos. And you get in these, what we call them, Craigslist breeders or full-on operations pumping out hundreds of Frenchies at a time. Anyways, it's just a recipe for disaster. The blind leading the blind. Uninformed buyers buying from uninformed, uneducated, unethical breeders, in big air quotes if you're listening to this, and that's just the Corsos. But now, yes, we have new fads coming. What's the next new fad? The North American Mastiff. It's coming. Look, as much as I'm talking smack, I look at that, I'm like, that's a cool dog. Do I want to own one? No, I don't know much about it. I don't know. I trained one and I wasn't really happy with it. But she was a sweet dog, but she was outside of she was like a leftover. That breeder forced this dog on the owner, meaning he should never have got that. Nice dog. We'll call it run to the litter. Ended up being a nice dog, but I just can tell you I don't have enough experience with that breed to say anything good or bad about it. But the breed hasn't even been around quite long enough to even really be a breed. It's still in the making, and I don't think there's any stopping it. And no, it's not recognized by the AKC yet. I don't think XL bullies are recognized by the AKC. I could be wrong on that. I don't think so. Yeah. And so, but yet it's a breed. Oh, it's out there, baby. So yeah, fad breeds, Catahoula, leopard dog. We're seeing a lot of that. The band dog, all these variations and iterations of current dogs. And I honestly don't really have a problem with the tinkering, which may be a story from another day. But all dogs came from some level, tinkering. Like, the Rottweiler didn't exist 200 years ago. Did not exist. It was invented, created in the late 1800s, give or take. And you can pretty much say the same for just about every dog breed on the planet. They all come from wolves. All of them. So, your Chihuahua, your Golden Retriever, your, quote, purebred this, that, or the other, it's genetic modification is what created it. So same thing, we said this and it really pisses people off. The Labradoodle, oh, that's not a purebred breed dog. It will be. It will be. It is. It's there. You breed it together long enough. I think it's 7 pairings. Don't quote me on this. Someone can post how many pairings until a dog is considered, quote, purebred.
Well, I know that the new thing is to start announcing first gen, second generation mixes. So now they're starting to classify these like second and third generation mixes as purebreds because they come from 2 of the mixed breeds.
Yeah. Well, I do know. I think dogs are one of those species that it's so quick to modify them that you can come up with like a new breed, so to speak, in so many pairings. There's some other, what's that other crazy one? Canis Panther. Never seen one, but that's some tinkering they've been doing for the last 20, 30 years. Anyways, we can go on and on with it.
We do have a question I'd like to pose. Someone
Please.
here put, do you think the Cane Corso will end up being even deadlier than the XL bullies?
Yes. Yes. As deadly. Yes, as deadly, if not more. That's a potent question. Yes. Yeah. We're already look we're already seeing it. Look at it. We just saw those videos. And it's only going to get worse. Mark my words. It's only going to get worse. Why? Because we're continuing to breed them, and now these bad genetics are out there, and they're just getting amplified. It's like freaking gremlins, right? We've all seen the movie. We start with one cute little gremlin, and then you put a little water on it, and they just start poking out, and then you feed it after midnight, and look what you got. And that's exactly what's happening. Irresponsible ownership, irresponsible breeding, everybody out there to make a buck. And look how fast, remember, what are these people saying? 2020 they heard about it? Was that like the average year?
Yep.
So in the last 4-5 years, I really wonder, like, where are we on this crest of the breed? I still think we're on the upswing, and that's scary because it's rocking and rolling right now. And everybody and their mom wants one, and nobody understands really what it takes. Now, as much as I said that some of them are getting, there's also some out there that they're breeding all the horsepower out of them, and they're lazy as all get out. Good. You know, but I mean, I've seen some pictures of Corsos, like, look at this Corso. I don't know what that is. It's not a Corso. That is far from a Corso. But bad genetics, man, shaky nerves. It's just a recipe for disaster. But, and I always say this too, it's a free country, baby. If you want to get a Corso, get one. Learn how to train it. Learn how to manage it, which is actually the perfect time to plug our courses, and it's taken us 2 hours to get there. DIYK9.com. Whether it's an XL bully, whether it's a Corso, Rottweiler, Dogo Argentino, you name it, check out the reviews, baby. Check it out. We help take you and your dog or puppy from zero to hero. That lady who's got the 13-week-old puppy in the passenger seat, I hope you see this. Please reach out to my team. You can curse me out if you want. I will not take back what I said, but I will literally give you free access to our courses so that you can fix the problem that you're creating so your dog doesn't end up a monster. Or, because what I don't want you to do is hit me up 2 years from now when it's already a monster and you're like, help me fix it. It's like, it's too late. It's too late. Too late. Look, it's never too late. I'm just saying the earlier you start, the better, right? And yeah, I really do. That's what that's how we're able to make. We don't make any money off these videos like this. Nah. But by the way, I always forget. But if anyone threw money in the chat section, please try to find it. You know, sometimes, and it's not. I'm not asking. You're not going to hear me ask for that. Sometimes people throw like $3, $4, $5, buy me a coffee. I'm very appreciative. But sometimes I don't answer those questions because I don't see that the money was thrown till later, so I feel bad.
We answered them all.
We're good?
Yeah, we answered them.
Good. And I appreciate that, y'all. Thank you so much for that. That supports the channel. I mean, it keeps me going, baby. A little coffee right here. Maybe it helps buy Thanos a bully stick, and it'll be... You know what? We should start a GoFundMe. Bully sticks for Thanos. The boy lives on them.
Let me put him up real quick.
There, yeah. Oh, he heard bully stick. He said, what? You got him?
Back to bed.
Thanos, what's up, buddy? Hey. There's a bad guy breaking in. Protect us. All right, so final thoughts here. Thank you all so much for watching. Seriously, do check out our courses at DIYK9.com. Check out our podcast. We just dropped one on Monday, episode 2 with my father. If you want to hear what 30-plus years of experience as a City of Miami police officer, through the 80s, through the 90s, through the riots, Cocaine Cowboys, Mariel Boat Lift, it is wild. Some killer stories. 28 years in the K-9 unit. And you're going to hear about just some of the wildest stuff, some of his stuff, some stuff that we did together. And we're really trying to grow that second channel. Maybe someone, our mods, can post that in the comment section there. That'd be great. Go over there, give us a heart, give us a share, give us a like, subscribe. And again, check out that first podcast with Cane Corso Rescue. And if you really, really want to support the channel and you really want to not end up on one of our review videos, us talking smack about you and your dog's lack of training, then I highly encourage you. Is that blackmail? If you don't want us to post videos about you and your dog being a jackass, please head on over to DIYcanine.com where you can learn how to train your dog to be the best that it can be. And it's a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. We guarantee you're going to love our product and it will absolutely help you train your dog to be the best trained dog in your whole neighborhood or town. Absolutely, for sure. And again, I don't care if it's a teacup Yorkie all the way up to a 200-pound Boer Bull, Dogo Argentino, Presa Canario, all these power breeds, all the more reason to get out there and get that training so that you do not become a statistic and we do not make fun of you in our next video for not knowing what the hell you're doing. And more importantly, so that victims, like we've seen in these videos here, that stuff has to stop happening. There's no excuse for it anymore. I don't care about poor genetics or not. Proper training, proper management, proper equipment can keep these things from happening. And that's really, those are my final thoughts. It's unacceptable, folks. Let's step up. Let's be responsible. Unless you want the government to come into your life and tell you what to do, we're going to have to police ourselves, y'all. All right? We're going to have to police ourselves. So it'd be a cold day in hell before we got the powers that be, you know, the United States government knocking on my door saying because of some ass clowns out there not being able to control their Corsos, somehow Thanos will get looped into that. We'll all lose our dogs. Can you imagine that? I hope it never comes to that. But man, the way things are going, I would not be surprised if they ban e-collars, they ban prong collars, and they start banning dogs on a federal level. But don't forget, there are city and county and maybe even states that are banning these dogs. Like they just lifted the pit bull ban in Miami, but man, I won't be surprised if they're post in the comments if you're seeing this at another time or right now. What bans do you know of happening right now? And then we didn't mention this, and I know we're supposed to close out, but Spider just in the last, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months was out looking for an apartment.
No, just weeks.
Oh, are you trying to move to a new place?
Yeah.
Oh, so tell us about that.
Yeah, just this week. I'm trying to move into a new place, and almost all of them, I want to say, had breed restrictions, saying that I couldn't bring such and such breeds to the apartment buildings.
Yep.
Regardless of training, regardless of age, regardless of size, just the breed in general.
And name those breeds, please.
So some of the more popular ones were like Cane Corso, the Pit Bull, Bullies were mentioned. I saw Chow Chow. I saw
Malamute.
Yeah, the Alaskan Malamute was on there, which was rare to me. I didn't see that one.
German Shepherd or no?
I don't recall, but probably, you know, it was probably on that list. But basically, Staffordshire Terrier was definitely there. Yeah, so they were just kind of pointing out a lot of these bigger, tougher breeds.
Yep, and we are our own worst enemy, y'all, because jackass ownership. So don't let it happen. And you say that might not affect you, and I don't live in an apartment, I live in a house. Yeah, a lot of houses are in HOAs, and HOAs have the same restrictions. And even if they don't restrict it, if they know and your insurance policy goes up, and if you don't have insurance, your dog gets out and kills somebody's dogs, bites somebody's kid, God forbid, kills someone, you're going to have a big problem on your hands. Big old problem. Big old problem. I mean, so invest in some training. Invest in some training. It's gonna, you got to do it. I don't care if you do it with me or not. Find a good trainer. It's going to be the best money you ever spent. And the sooner you do it, the sooner you can enjoy the benefits of having a well-trained dog and protect yourself from the liabilities and the stress and all the mayhem and nonsense. Again, those are my closing thoughts. We're going to end it here. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. See you on the next one.